light of COVID-19, many governments in South and Southeast Asia are using existing information or computer-related laws or enacted new legal frameworks such as the Anti-Fake News Act in Malaysia to control what the authorities deem as fake news that harm public health. But these laws are easily abused as a weapon to stifle government critiques and therefore further restrict civil liberties. What is more, the pandemic has given a pretext for governments to introduce AI-powered surveillance tools, including facial recognition technology, that makes repression even more targeted. Mass surveillance technologies like these also disproportionately affect marginalized communities.
Governments, civil society, and the private sector should be working together to end the COVID-19 pandemic, along with citizens. But unfortunately, what we have seen in many African countries is a scenario where some governments have taken advantage of the pandemic to violate the rights of citizens. In a report presented by Paradigm Initiative on COVID-19 and digital rights on the continent, we saw from Cameroon to Ethiopia to Nigeria to Kenya to Zimbabwe scenarios where what should have been an opportunity to respect privacy rights of citizens went wrong. And this is not the way it should be. We had examples of some countries that introduced new legislation that wasn't focused on solving the problem, but on attacking opposition, members of opposition parties. We saw countries where violations happened and they were not punished. We saw countries where citizens lost trust in government because of how their data was handled during a period when everyone needs to trust the authorities so that we can end the pandemic. My biggest worry, though, is the fact that this may just be the new normal in many of these countries. Now that these governments have emergency legislation to be able to do what they want to do to create an environment of surveillance and a climate of fear, they may just make that the new normal after the pandemic. And that will be a problem. I think this is a good time for every stakeholder to join voices and to say that respect for data and respect for citizen rights should be the basic minimum for anything that governments do to end the COVID-19 pandemic.